Hey guys, we're going to be starting a playthrough of Motorsport Manager with the Fire Fantasy 21 mod. If you're a fan of F1 or any sort of motorsport, I highly recommend the game, especially with the Fire Fantasy mod. The base game does not have any real-world teams or drivers, but all of that is added in with the Fire Fantasy mod. So I highly recommend playing with both. For this series, it's sort of a reboot. We're going to be starting a new career. We're just going to leave all that. Make sure the mod is on. And like I said, it's going to be a reboot of a playthrough that I was doing before, where I wanted to start in... my cat's just playing. Start in F3, so Formula 3, and rise the ranks up to F2, and then eventually up to F1, and win the whole thing. It's not really how the game, or rather how Motorsport, or that series, works. You're kind of just stuck in your series. It's more like a franchise model. But in this game, at least, it allows you to climb those ranks. Right now I'm just creating my profile. That's close. So for the background, we're just going to choose X Engineer. There's a few others, but I like this one. And like I said, you can create your own team, which is what we'll be doing, but it does include real-world teams from Formula 1. I was going to do a bit of lulling. All your favorites. It is the most popular motorsport, including a few others. This mod adds, I want to say 14 or 12 teams in total. So these two have just been added to fill their place. I believe they used to be in Formula 1, but are no longer. And as you can see, it's also updated partially for 2021. Not so much the livery, but I'm pretty sure that's coming soon. Oh, well, we wouldn't even know the livery right now. They haven't revealed it. So yeah, all your favorites from Formula 1. And same with GT racing. Now, as opposed to Formula 1, which has like all the teams from that series, the GT, it's kind of a mixture. So you have McLaren, obviously, using their McLaren cars, but then you also have Nissan in a GTR. I don't know if there's really a series in GT that does have all these cars, like a Ford GT and the Nissan racing against each other, so this is a bit of fantasy. The same with Endurance. I believe they all use the prototype design. Is Toyota here? Yep. Toyota. I want to say this is a simulation of what's coming. Oh my god, it even has this one. This is a front-wheel drive prototype. So yeah, this is definitely a bit of fantasy happening right now. In the upcoming season for LM Hyper, we will be seeing Toyota and Audi and Porsche, like the top three, just duking it out. Obviously, this car stopped racing in, I think, 2015. But, man, okay, I might have to have a career doing that. But that'll come in the future. For now, we're going to stick with creating our own team, starting in F3, and climbing the ranks. Name your team. You can do whatever you want. You can have... Oh, actually, no. You need to have the second part. course, it's gonna be in Canada, where I'm at, safely at home, due to the pandemic. This game is perfect for the pandemic. You can kill hours and hours of time playing this game. You choose your logo, the colors, you can choose your uniform. And strippies. And then last but not least, you can design your livery. If you've seen my previous video, you'll know that I kind of memed and did my livery based off of the that Honda tuner spoon, which I'm going to continue. I think because of all the different cars, like the official car liveries that were added into the game, I believe all these are broken. Like for instance, this one is clearly the Mercedes livery. Kitty shush. Like for instance, this one is clearly the Mercedes livery. And yeah, even though there's 348 different liveries in just the workshop section alone, I don't think there's a proper livery that you can use. I might have to just be happy with whatever looks close enough. Okay, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Whatever. Okay, so that's our livery. It's okay. We're not going to be looking that closely at it. Next up, we select our title sponsor. We're going to be choosing Flexingate just because it's the easiest option. Okay, so when you start out, you are immediately kicked to this screen. This is just one of many, and even just this one is probably a little overwhelming, so we're just going to go through them. I'll maybe explain stuff here and there, but generally it should be pretty self-explanatory. I'll try to vocalize some of my thoughts. So first off, you should check your emails. A lot of this is kind of just nothing. It's like, hello, this is your chairman, Shahid Khan. He's the actual real-life chairman of the real-life company Flexingate, so that's kind of cool. I think for any person that has a picture, they are a real person. You'll see a lot of them. All these CG ones are obviously not real people. This one is your assistant. He's saying hello. For this one, at the beginning of every season, you are basically saying to your chairman, hey, I'm going to aim to finish in this position. If you aim higher, he gives you a pretty significant amount of money. Like at 12th year, you're getting 10 million. At 10th, you're getting 15. And this is all up front. But if you happen to finish below the position that you predict, you're fired. You're just immediately canned. No warning. Or sorry, not no warning, but like the season's done, you're out. And so for your first season, you definitely do not want to be selecting these two. The game can be pretty brutal, especially if it's like your first outing. So, and there's no penalty for finishing last if that's indeed your prediction. So I'll take the 10 million. That brings us up to 35 million. It's a lot of money, but it's also not a lot in motorsports terms. This is a scouting report. She's just telling us that our team is awful. We in the base game, you have a set amount of drivers that are contracted with you. You get 2 main drivers and 1 reserve, but in this mod, their contracts automatically expire, which is sort of a good thing because you're not locked in with these drivers. They're all bad. And if you wanted to get rid of them, you'd have to pay them out of their contracts. So trust me, you're much better off not having these drivers. And then introduction to your pit crew. It's a little bit of a tutorial on how the pit crews work and what their stats do. It's pretty self-explanatory. The higher the number, the faster they are at each job. It's a little weird that you'd be good at the front jack, but not the rear, or vice versa, but that's how it is. We'll be improving the pit crew slowly but surely as the season goes on. Yeah. Just gotta respond. So that's it for emails. Okay, moving on. Since there's an alert here, let's just go through the pit crew, see if there's anyone that we can improve. It's generally a good idea to have people in reserve, just in case your main team gets tired. You don't want tired people out on the pits. That's how mistakes happen, and it can cost you a race. These are actually pretty good guys. Generally speaking, you only need them for 1 or 2 jobs, like the front and rear jackmans. That's all they're doing. The tire guys, at least these 2 double up in repairs, and then these 2 are only tire guys. It looks like there's no refueling in F3, which I think is reflective of the real world rule set. So we actually don't need to worry about refueling. So this guy, awesome refueler, we don't need him. And likewise, the people that are fixing also have to be decent at changing tires. So even though this guy is really good at fixing, not being good at changing tires is not good. We'll be changing tires more often than we'll be fixing, so this guy's good. Pick him up. This guy's pretty good as a jackman too. Of course, you could swap people where they need to be. This guy's good here. This guy has a really good fixing. And you should see your pit stop times go down. It's not actually. That's weird. Why is that? Oh, I think we're being bottlenecked by people on the jacks. So let's see. Actually, this person would be better here. Do we have someone? This should go higher. Yeah, usually, like it doesn't matter if you have 3 guys that are lightning fast at switching tires if you're being bottlenecked by 1 slow guy. So that's what's happening here. I can maybe see. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna make, so right now it's 11.08. It doesn't get affected. I'll switch this guy here. Boom. Sub 11 seconds. It's not the biggest deal, but we'll take the time shaving where we can. Alright, so I want to upgrade my HQ. Your HQ is basically your tech tree. All these different buildings do something different, whether it's this one passively improves your staff, including your drivers. This one, they're like hidden sets of drivers that you can unlock and scout from, so on and so forth. So we're going to want to upgrade the design center and the factory. they unlock even more buildings that are important for car development. And you can see here when you mouse over which buildings are required in order to develop that part specifically even further. We're going to focus on engine. That seems to be the safe bet. So yeah, we're going to upgrade those. And same with the factory. I don't think there's any limitations on how many buildings you can be building at any one time. You're only limited by money. And this mod is pretty realistic. It'll take about the full year, if not more, to build it. And while that's going for the year, we're gonna want to be making improvements to the car throughout the whole season. You could just focus on stuff that you think is important, like the engine, gearbox, etc. But as you can see here, for the next race, these parts in particular are crucial for the track. You can actually see which parts are most important for each track for the season. And assuming that there are no rule changes for the next year as far as tracks, you can hyper-focus your car development for each race series. Most likely there will be changes to the track list every year, depending on how votes go, but we'll talk about these votes when we come to them. Just know that we won't really be focusing on brakes. It doesn't do a whole lot for performance. We need to go fast, not slow. The focus switches completely. Like, you almost want to see like what the opening rounds are and see if there's some sort of overlap. So right here, there's the first 3 races, 2 of them have priority over low speed corners, which is the front wing. It's actually kind of a mixed bag. That's kind of interesting. This one's acceleration. So what we could do is focus on the front wing and then acceleration. And then just make sure that you're always looking forward as far as your development. Generally speaking, the most important part in the car is the engine, but that also does change based off of your series. Like for instance, in Formula 3, the engine is probably not as important as it would be in Formula 1. I believe in Formula 3, the most important thing is your driver. That said, let's get some parts developed. You'll always want to be money willing. You almost always want to be developing something. Yeah, and it looks like we actually don't have the worst car on the grid, which is good. And we'll want to be focusing on the low speed corners, at least for these first few rounds. So we're going to be developing the front wing. It's easy. I think the front wings are... Oh, that's different. It used to be that the aero parts were faster to develop, but it's 7 days across the board, with the engine taking the longest. So that's, I think, is new. Even still, we'll do that. When you're developing parts, there is a selection of components that you choose from, and it's different for each part. So for front wing, we have this selection of components. For suspension, there's the selection. The selection is the same for all teams for each season, but for every new season, it's randomized. it's the same for all teams, so there is some balance there. So know that like other teams don't have the ability to outstrip you in terms of development. Like if you're investing the same amount, you should be able to keep up with them. Let's see, cornering, overtaking. They also redid how these work as well. It's no longer... That's so interesting. That's interesting. Okay. So this one improves chassis and driver. This one improves reliability. This one improves performance. Okay, this is cool. And for each one of these components that you add in, it makes a part both more expensive and take longer to build. So we'll see here, this is important, whether or not the part will be built in time for the race, and these definitely will be. Okay, that's really good actually. So we'll build that. On top of building completely new parts for your cars, you can also improve the parts that you have already. And we'll want to improve reliability first and foremost. The engine is... Actually, reliability is not bad. Usually when you start off in a new season, your reliability is really low, but this is actually pretty workable. Even still, I think we're still gonna focus on that. Okay, so from here, this screen is an overview of my team. It shows all your staff and how shit they are. It shows your marketability. We'll talk about that later. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then this is your chairman's happiness. This is pretty important for whether or not you want to keep your job. Yeah, and so from here we're going to be scouting for a new driver. Actually, let's do it from the scouting menu. So in theory, what we could do is just pick up the drivers that were let go, or maybe their contract elapsed. Okay, because they are known quantities, we know how good or bad they are. We know what personality traits they have. We know what their marketability is, and then also in the negotiations, we also know what their expectations are for each aspect, whether they care about their status, whether they want to be number one, whether they care about equal status or not, etc. But for every other driver that's out there, you have no idea. I mean, you have some semblance of an idea for how good they are in each category, but when you approach them and start negotiations, you're going in blind, so you gotta pony up. You do have a sense of like what their range is at. So this guy, his per race cost is around 200,000. Meanwhile, Andre Gomez's starting rate is 62,000. So that gives a rough estimate on like he's definitely higher than the 2-star. Let's say that. But in order to get that information, you have to scout drivers, and that can take a long time, especially if the next race in the calendar is actually, that's in 24 days. So that would give some time to scout some drivers, but we have to be strategic with who we choose to scout. I thought that maybe famous drivers. Yeah, actually, okay, so yeah, so the famous drivers are obviously known. in terms of their cost per race and when their contracts end. I think that's just due to like the press reporting on this sort of thing. But again, specifics as far as their abilities, marketability, or driver traits, I think, yeah, even I want to say that it's not known what they'd want in a negotiation, but you wouldn't even get them to the table. Because why would they go from F1 all the way to F3? That would be a different story if you were also in F3, or F1 rather. But I think even if the prestige of your team isn't high enough, they might still reject you. Like if you just go, or like a new team at F1 and you're trying to approach Hamilton, for instance, yeah, he's not going to talk to you. Like, it's just not happening. Yeah. Because sorry, your team's below my standard. So what do we do now? The safest bet, just scout whoever's the youngest. That's sort of a band-aid solution for now, but we'll have a better way of scouting drivers in the future. Should be good. We should get a selection of 3, and then we can go from there. On top of that, you can also hire new designers and new race mechanics. I think... yeah, so these... right now I technically don't have a set designer mechanic or mechanics. These are basically your loaner staff you have right now. That's why they have such low cost per race and rolling contracts. They're there with you permanently in case someone quits. And same with the drivers. That's the same case with the drivers. They're just replacement people. You basically never want to be using the replacement people if you can help it. Even though you're saving money by using those people, you're just shooting yourself in the foot long term. So let's find a designer. Generally speaking, you can go off of their star rating. Their star rating is an amalgamation. The star rating is like a rough total of their stats. When you're building new parts, they add their stats to those specific parts. But the real thing you should be looking to is the components that they add. When you're building new parts, I can't do it right now, but you have the selection or the option to add the mechanics, or rather the designer's components to the part instead. And they can be kind of okay, like, oh yeah, more reliability, to something insane like this, like 3 seconds off your pit stop time. That's significant. In a race where, let's say refueling's mandatory, that's 3 seconds off your race right there. Just one pit stop. So that's huge. But then you have to have that component added to a part. Yeah. So that does make scouting for a designer a lot harder, but we can see just from basically who's probably the cheapest based off of their ability, and then go from there. And again, like, we don't have the option to add epic or legendary components just yet. I think for this season we're allowed up to tier 3. Those tiers are unlocked with when you specialize for each part that requires investment into specific buildings. So for the engine, you need to invest in the test track. Oh, I can't build it yet. That's because I need a level 2 factory, blah blah blah. There's a lot of barriers to improving, but we'll get there. So I think for my designer, I'm gonna choose Alina. I don't care about brakes, so any points towards brakes would just be wasted wasted resources. She has good points in engine. Again, these aren't really the things you want to focus on. You really want to focus on the components, and I really think this one might be really good. Some parts have qualifiers on them, so for this one it says during race, meaning that those benefits only happen during a race. There's others where it's like when you're using a specific tire or during qualifier or something like that. But generally speaking, the race is going to be the most important part of of an event, so that's pretty good. So now we can approach the designer. She's interested, which is good. I think even for designers, let's see. Actually, no. Okay. Maybe can I steal Adrian Newey from Red Bull? No. I think if they're already part of a team, especially if they are in a higher series, they won't be interested in talking. But even this guy, who's like almost 5-star designer, he'll be interested. But yeah, he'll probably cost more than certain drivers, which is not the best use of your money. Generally speaking, you'll want to kind of have not equal investment, but like if I'm seeking out 3-star drivers, I won't want to be seeking out 4-star designers and mechanics. Like, you'll want to have your drivers take priority. So we're going to approach her. Wages are important. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can like 10 different levels of her contract cost. So they're important. She's apparently really impatient. And if you mess up contract negotiations even once, she won't talk to you. And, yeah, and you'll have to wait like a season before you can approach her again. So, I really don't. I would have preferred to have someone only for the 1 year, but she has pretty good stats, so we'll see how she works out for 2 years. Again, we could just cancel her contract and just pay out the fee, but who knows? That's a lot. If she doesn't take it, then that's fine. But then now we should go for mechanic. And it's a similar process. We'll probably start from the bottom. But mechanics are a little different. They do have their own stats, but they obviously contribute to different things. It's a little less self-explanatory than the designers, where the stat just goes to whichever part is named. Like, what is concentration to a mechanic? Like, but the concentration is, I believe it's during the pit stops. It affects their ability to not make mistakes. So each person has their own sort of risk factor. That sounds really low, but the risks are multiplied depending on the type of pit stop that you want to take, whether it's normal, conservative, or you need to rush. If you're rushing, this turns into like 6%, which is significant when it's all added up. Having good mechanics can reduce that, depending on concentration and I believe pit stop. I think one is mistakes, one is, or pit stops is like speed. Chemistry is how well they get along with your driver. You have 2 drivers, so you'll have 2 mechanics, and you assign them to each one. So, is that where it is? No, staff? Yeah, staff. So you're your mechanic, and then the relationship with the driver. You can swap them as well, if you want. Like, say you have one better driver and one better mechanic, you'll want them paired up. Yeah, we should find them first. Right. So chemistry, that's relationship to the driver. Part fixes, when a pit stop, during a pit stop, if you have to repair something, this, I guess, improves the speed. And then reliability and performance are sort of confusing. What these 2 stats are, when you're improving parts, they can contribute an additional bonus per day to that corresponding stat. So for this person, I believe it's like 1 and 2. But if we swap them, his reliability score is not as good as hers. But they're both terrible, so we'll need to replace them ASAP. Having misbalanced scores in reliability and performance is useful. If they have high reliability and performance at the same time, it's pointless because they can only be on one job at a time. Other than that, just pick whoever you think is good. I don't think there's any other additional. Actually, no, sorry, that is a complete lie. They do have their own skills. And these can take place during a race, during qualifier, during... Actually, just those 2. Usually during a race. Yeah, and this is a game breaker. There is no technology thing from the HQ that blocks whether or not you can get them. It's purely based off of the relationship with the driver. So the longer the driver is working under this mechanic, the better the relationship will be, and you'll unlock these special abilities. These can be significant in a race. Like that's huge. 50% refueling is also huge. There's no refueling in F3, so that's kind of a waste, but if I was getting this guy just for this, that actually might be worth it. So, might keep him in mind. But I'm gonna skip forward until I find my 2. Alright, so the 2 mechanics that I found are this guy. I'm not gonna say his name, I don't know how to pronounce that. And Erica. So the reasoning is I kind of want to prioritize the reliability and performance gains that they give. I'm not too concerned about the skills, at least from this guy. This one's super useful, but there's no qualifiers in F3, so this one won't apply. I don't think we'll get there, given his chemistry. And the other thing, too, because he's 58 years old, he's past his prime, and he'll be actually losing abilities as he ages. So my intention is only to use him for 1 year. Erica, on the other hand, she's still got a lot of life in her. She has potential to be a 4-star. But we'll see if she can get there. she has a super interesting ability called Push the Limit, which removes the red zone from the car condition. And if you remember when I was making parts, one of the trade-offs to some of the performance gains is that it increases the red zone, but if she has the ability to remove red zone, then that downside is just completely negated. So that could be an interesting strategy for building parts in the future if I can get this. So we're gonna send him an offer. Oh, okay, he's gonna re-retire anyways. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna find someone else. I'll send her an offer. Wages are important. She also wants a 2-year contract. I'm gonna tell her 1 year. Actually, she has a lot of potential. And I do like her ability. Okay, you know what? Fine. She wants a signing bonus. Fine. She's not that expensive. She wants this. Again, podium or higher. Sure, you'll get your bonus. She's a little bit more patient, so maybe what I'll do is lowball her a little. We won't be, save for a miracle on the podium for this season. So I'm not too worried about giving up 120 just like that. I do need to find another mechanic, so for my other mechanic, I'm gonna try approaching Charlotte. She has high performance. Her first ability doesn't apply, no qualifying in F3, but her nurse ability is not bad, especially when you're going to be pushing the car a lot. Unlike that other guy who peaked by the time he was in his 50s, she still has 5-star potential, surprisingly enough, and is improving every week. So I'll approach her. Man, all these guys want medium-like contracts. That sucks. I think their demand, they definitely know their value. Okay. I think that's everything that I can do right now. So just in case I want to skip through all of this, I answered all my emails. My target for this season is 12th. As far as my car, I'm developing a new front wing. The reasoning for that is the next race prioritizes a front wing. Same with Yokohama. We'll be looking ahead for the next few developments when we come to them. We're also improving our parts, focusing on reliability first and foremost, on the engine and gearbox for the best part that we have right now. There's no sense in improving the worst part that you have right now. If you build a part, regardless of which part it is, the lesser one's gonna get replaced anyway. So don't bother. Don't bother doubling up like this. Always focus on single parts, the best ones first in the beginning of the season. As far as HQ, I dumped a ton of money upgrading the design center and the factory. This will take about a year to complete, so that's a big investment, but we need to be forward thinking. As far as staff, the drivers, I didn't approach anyone blind just yet. I also don't really want to bother with these 3. I kind of want to aim for people who are either 3-star or higher, or if they're not, at the very least, ones who are young. So we're going to be waiting for these first 3 to finish scouting, and then we'll see what we can get from there. I approached a designer, Elena Grove. She has good components. That should be your focus, as well as a focus on engines. And then also specifically bad brakes, just because brakes are not that important. And further, we also approached 2 mechanics, one with a high reliability score and some decent skills, and then the other with a high performance skill. They're on race day performance I'm less concerned about, but that might be a mistake. We'll see. I also improved my pit crew a bit. Their pit time the simulation is below 11 seconds, which is pretty good. So for the budget, it was medium. We're going to go cheap. We don't have sponsor options just yet, but we might ahead of the first race if we're lucky. Sponsors are a big deal when it comes to earning money in the game. Yeah, so hopefully we can get one. Alright, let's see what happens. So, we just got a fuck ton of emails, because I believe every team was in a similar boat with us, where they don't have drivers or mechanics or designers. And so this is everyone signing drivers and everything. And I believe this is news for not just F3, but F2 as well. No, this is F3. I didn't know Honda had an F3. But yeah. So hopefully it's not one of our drivers or mechanics that got picked up. Although it would have said. And so it looks like we're fine. Let's see our first response to a contract. I'm going to renegotiate. She's not happy about this. She literally wants the max amount, so that's fine. So responded. She's definitely going to say yes, but we have to wait for the response anyways. See how these other 2 contracts went. Okay, so one accepted. We're just going to accept that. It's the one that only had the one pip of patience anyway, so that's good. So she's our engineer. So that's good. And then we need to... I kind of lowballed her here. She wants the max amount as well. I guess the game knows that they're really good. So we just have to wait for them to respond again. These emails. Right, so she accepted. And then for most roster moves, even for the mechanics, there's news on it. Just a bit of flavor. And again, all these people are from real organizations, which is really cool. Okay, so the scouting report finished on one driver. The email is like sort of a rough overview, but you generally don't bother with that. Actually, just look in detail, see how he is. He's not bad. He's slightly above a 2-star and has solid stats all around. Like there's nothing he's particularly deficient in. Unfortunately, his low stat is focus, which does affect whether the driver will be making mistakes or not during a race. That could be locking the brakes or just crashing into a wall completely. So that's probably not the best stat to be the lowest on for a driver, but we could see what the other two look like. We only have a week, rather, sorry, 2 weeks until the race. I don't want to wait for this until to make an offer. I do want to see what this person looks like. Oh, okay. So Erica takes the contract, which is good. Blah blah blah, that's just emails about mechanic. Oh, this other scouting report finished as well. So similar as the other guy. Above 2-star, all-rounder. I would prefer him over Sebastian Montoya. I'm gonna approach him. I'm gonna send him an offer. Having at least just one driver that's decent would be good. And then status isn't too important. So if a driver's set to the number 1 driver and you happen to give the other driver like better parts or he has a better car, it'll be pissed. But you can theoretically have 2 number 2 drivers in the team, and even if one car is clearly better than the other, they won't say anything. So let's see that. I do want him to take the offer. I don't know if there's enough time for a renegotiation, so I'm just gonna give him a little bit more, even though he says wages aren't very important. Like an extra 50,000 per race is not a big deal. Okay, and then we're gonna see the other contract proposal. It's accepted, which is really good. So be very careful to not replace the mechanic that you just hired. I've done that in one start before and had to redo everything. Blah blah blah, that's just news. Okay, so as far as our staff, we're set up. Budget 2 stars, which is really good. They have potential to go even further. And then once I have my second driver, I'll look more closely at, or rather not my second driver, my first driver. I'll look more closely at which mechanic is set to who. Okay. Okay. And our first part is complete. We can fit it to whichever. I believe this first one is the better car, so we'll do that. Its reliability, I think, is maxed. Oh, not quite. So we can do that, but 95 is basically max, so we can just... let's max it. Okay, and then now that we're free, we can even make another part. But again, I'm going to be focusing more on one car, so I won't bother making another wing. I'll be seeing what else is coming up in the terms of the races. So acceleration is really important on these 2 races. Same here. So that's a high priority. I could do an engine, but if I can get... yeah, no, let's do... let's do a gearbox. Oh, and because I have my lead designer, I can have her bonus added as well. Just in case these aren't good, 50% red zone. Fuel efficiency. These are interesting. No, I actually like her component a lot. So I'll go with hers. Oh wow, this is actually interesting. This comes with a risk level. This reduces red zone. So if I do this and this, driver's overtaking +1. It can even be more fuel efficient. That is so cool. Wow, they really overhauled the parts. That's super interesting. Okay. The thing that's interesting about reliability is it's just on the initial part. It doesn't affect the actual max reliability for the part. So if, say, you're building it, if you know it's the part's going to be built before a certain race, you can spend that time in between just pumping the reliability up to make up for it. Like, essentially, low reliability is lost time, which could be worth it in the long run. This is super interesting. It used to be pretty clear-cut, like which components that you would choose for each tier. But now there's like genuine, like, I don't know if this is better, or this might be better when our car is actually faster, but this is, like, the higher fuel efficiency opens up more interesting strategies, like underfueling. I think I'm gonna try this. And this is just straight performance. Like this, the red zones are negated by this. All this is I'm spending $100,000 in 4 days to counteract the red zone. Like it ends up being the same, like the red zone size. Okay. Oh. Okay, so this last guy got scouted. He is the best of the three. But I wonder if it's worth... If I make an offer, will it be before this race? It probably won't be, actually. So I might hold off. Because from this race... 1, 2, 3... there'll be a lot of other people scouted. So I want to... I just want to have a bigger pool of people to scout from. Okay, actually, we'll take this guy, Dennis Hogger, out of the pool. Because he was picked up. Actually, yeah, a lot of people got picked up. Arena... Simtek, Nico, Theo, yeah, so a lot of the teams actually had similar ideas. Even Cosworth in Formula 2 picked up a 17-year-old, so Super cool. So I'm gonna scout even more people, or at least have them queued up. Yeah, we'll stop at the points. Okay. So that was the person we just looked at, right, Rick? Balthorn. Reliability work is done. This is really good. I think we paused it on the gearbox. And then what's another? I think the brakes is a good one to do. So I'll focus on those. It is Kate's birthday. Which one's Kate? It's our reserve driver. So, like, who cares? We'll just be sure to replace her. Actually, no, she's literally the reserve driver. Okay, never mind. Let's continue. Okay, awesome. So he accepts the contract. He'll be... Actually, no, I could just... Oh, interesting. Yeah, so I'll just replace Kate. I can promote him to be my main driver. Does that give him a morale boost as well? Or is it actually bad that I put him in that position in the first place? I think it was bad. We're just gonna deal with it. Okay, yeah. Spending money. Yeah, so I thought I was being a little tricky with the game, and it would give him a morale boost from being promoted, but he is just incredibly pissed off. That's okay. I'm sure it'll wear off eventually. Okay. What else? I think all that's left is to go into our first race. Ooh, on top of that, because we picked up the driver, our reserve drivers have 0 marketability, but the real drivers do. That's a really high marketability, and that attracts some sponsors. Not only that, our sponsor appeal is level 2. So with luck, we have level 2 sponsors. Yes. One is Hello Kitty. We'll immediately take that. That's a good chunk of money. Let's see that Hello Kitty. And the second one is Lenovo. These are decent sponsors. For opening race too. Like, what is that? 320 plus 360. That's over $500,000 per race, just straight up. Now our cost per race is still a lot higher than that, but that's a decent amount just taken off of our cost per race. All that adds up. More so when we start adding even more sponsors. So before we head into Tandela, what did we do? We built the front wing. We filled out our staff, the designer and 2 mechanics. We got 1 driver, scouting a lot more. And we picked up 2 sponsors. Oh, and we also improved our pit crew, but yeah. So looking ahead, Tandela. It says during race day it'll be raining, which is unfortunate because for practice there won't be any rain, so we won't really be able to get any practice on intermediates or wets, but that's okay. Who knows how much race there will be on that race day. You might have to be on the slicks anyways. But because we're definitely going to be switching tires at least once, or maybe, I'm not sure, we'll focus on the ultras. Oh, actually, let me see that he's also in the right car. He is not. Okay, so that's also important to check too. Because of his positioning, like in this menu, he's like in the number 2 car, which is a little awkward considering he's our only legit driver. So we'll just autofill. It just picks whichever's best, and yeah, that includes the new wing. Yeah. We don't have the terrible car, so we can not finish last. That'll be good. Podium, maybe. We'll definitely have to see. Heavy rain, okay. Nothing in terms of sponsored options, that's okay. Low tire wear, so I think we're safe to go ultras. Medium fuel burn. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, it's also raining during practice. That's actually good. So we'll select these two. Right, so practice. Before every race, we have to have the car set up for the track and for the driver. And if you have the wrong setup, it could really screw up your race. So the mechanics give you rough recommendations for how they'll be set up. Yeah, and it'll only be narrowed down when you start putting in laps. You have 15 minutes to do so. You also can check the rain levels. It will be going up, so it's probably worth it just to switch to wets now. I could also simulate the practice, but the AI does a really bad job of it. Okay, so we're gonna send him out. Wait, is there qualifiers in F3? Oh, right. Sorry, no, there's no refueling. Apparently there is a qualifier. Okay. Well, that's different from last year. Well, let's see how this works out. Qualifying is super important in F3. The difference of power from the cars is not that much, so we're gonna focus on that then. We'll keep him on the race trim, and we'll just keep him out there. His car doesn't really matter. What I really care about is just knowledge. Okay, and so all he needs to do is just put in laps to figure out the feel of the car. Even like not even putting in a real lap. You can get a feel for how it actually feels. So downforce setup is really bad. It needs it to be a lot higher. And it's probably best just to do one of these at a time. It's because if you see the setup time, even if you adjust it a little, it bumps it up to 15 seconds, or by 15 seconds. So just do one. Yeah. Handling was on point, so we're going to try to keep that the same. Speed balance was actually okay too, so we'll try to keep that close. We'll do that. You know what? This is 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. We'll keep the current tire. See how that feels. Oh, oops, I forgot to bring it in. Huh. He's actually putting in the best times right now. Which is surprising. Okay. So I can't tell. I'm pretty sure I still need more downforce. The handling was slightly off. You can see where it was before here, so we need this to be on the other side. And this one, this needs to be like in the middle over here or something. Maybe if I do this. This should be good. We'll see how this feels, and then we'll try to put him in as many laps as possible afterwards. This guy's gonna come in soon. Right, yeah, he's now he's being outdone. So let's do that. Okay, we'll keep him out there now. Oh, there's like no rain now. Gosh dang. Okay. Okay, so we'll keep him out there in intermediate tires. So he'll be coming in. Or should it be? Okay, I'm happy with that. We'll get a few stints in on the ultras. This intermediates, yeah, it's actually still too wet for. So a 97, that's really good. It's actually still too dry for the inters. Like, I kind of don't care about this car, but there's no sense in leaving it with a bad setup. He's out for 3 laps. And then we could just see what type of times he puts in. I think I might have been looking at the wrong one. It's okay. He still hasn't put in a time yet. Oh. Whoops. Nice, okay. It's really good. So he's the fastest, but that's not saying much because everyone else is on the wrong tires right now. And generally speaking, the practice sessions don't really say anything. Yeah, I have to bring him in also. This guy can keep pushing. I don't think I got any knowledge. Yeah, don't pay attention to these times, like, these guys were using the wrong tires when it was dry, the practice session time, so don't tell anything. Let's see. Yeah, no, I got no knowledge. So that sucks. That's also the downside of having like one really crappy driver, is they don't give you enough feedback. The feedback is used for these knowledge points, which are buffs during either the race or the qualifier. It doesn't matter at this point because I didn't get any. That's okay. Speed balance was better on this, so I can make a last minute adjustment. It's actually exact. Kind of want it to be more like that, just in case the perfect setup was closer to there. So. Okay, so I'm good with that. Yeah, and I'm happy with this setup. Shouldn't rain today. So, take the qualifier, send him out. So qualifying is a little tricky. It's actually way more important to have clear, like there's a little mini game involved. To optimize like the tire temperatures and everything like that, but it's actually much better if you just have clear air ahead of you. Nice. So that's perfect. We'll see if he can do the same. I don't care about him though, so I'm just gonna see what he can accomplish. He's relatively clear air. He's maybe getting stopped up by the guy in front of him though. Mick Schumacher is putting in the best times right now. Not surprising. Okay, so that's not bad. We'll see where he sits when the rest of the field puts in their times. That's significantly slower. That is abysmal. So we're definitely sitting in the back of the pack. We can probably get in another lap. Is it worth burning another tire? Yes, I think so. Yeah, let's do it. Oops. Okay, slightly cold. I did too early. But oh, did I not pass it in time? Oh, okay, that's fine. 18th actually isn't terrible. Our car is 10th on the grid, so we're up 2 positions essentially. Let's see, did Schumacher make pole? No, he's... Oh, actually this is a different Schumacher too. Marta Garcia is here. Oh yeah, that's right. These were just like all picked up by the AI. I was like, I don't remember if any of these people are actually in F3. Okay, that's not bad. He'll just... yeah. Whatever. Okay, so that wasn't terrible. It is apparently supposed to rain. It's not raining yet, so that'll be something to look out for. It actually will start raining on like lap 6 or so. Okay, so what we could do is we can burn these tires. Should I underfuel? I kind of want to underfuel this guy. Like, it kind of doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It burns this tire. We're gonna switch to the intermediates. It actually looked like it rained overnight. There's no track grip. Yeah, so we'll burn this tire, and then we'll have to see how much rain there actually is. We might have to switch again. Let's see. For driver strategy, he'll conserve. The problem with these drivers is because they're so bad, they actually are so hard on the car itself, both on the tire and the components. There isn't any penalty if they crash the car or like damage the components or anything like that, but I just rather it not happen if I can help it. This guy will push for these opening laps, and then we'll conserve a bit when the rain starts coming in. I might even do this. Okay. Oh, right. You now have the option to simulate races too, which might be another cool way to play the game, but not this time. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Probably keep it on this speed. Oh wow, the simulation is much better. Like you're clearly not just hitting each other. There is like somewhat of a collision happening. Oh man. But yeah, it kind of looks janky sometimes. So this guy already has a drive-through penalty. The Oliveira is up to P8 somehow. Schumacher collided with someone all the way in the back, man. He fell far behind. This is a really good first lap for us. 2 people already jumping into the pit. Lots of accidents. 4 people in the pit. It looks a little funny going around these slow turns. Once we hit the tire temp, we're gonna push a lot more. His tire's really cold, so we're gonna have him warm up. Oh wow, he hit me. He took damage, but I didn't. Oh, but something else happened. I dropped down in position. Now I'm back up to P7. So he's gonna have to dive into the pit, I think. Oh, apparently not. Okay. Even my shitty driver is in P18 somehow. There's just so many collisions happening. Who was it that hit me? A Lacey? He's in P5 right now. Okay. So I'm gonna ease up now on the engine mode. I do want to finish the race down half a lap in terms of fuel. So there's at least going to be intermediate levels of rain. But that won't be until like lap 7, looks like. Yeah, overall this is phenomenal for us. We started in P18, we're already in P7, so we just need to maintain. Three more people going into the pits. What is happening? That's the second, no, the first time. Oh, I'm not sure actually. I was thinking maybe some of them were serving their drive-through penalties, but I'm not sure. Another thing to note that's really good is even though we're at a medium pace, we're conserving some fuel, so we should be able to finish the race, which is a good thing. I'm gonna go neutral right now, see what that does to the temperatures. It could still steadily rise. If it goes down, then good. But yeah, it looks like it's going down. So I'll be able to push a lot. Did I underfuel him? I think I did. That freaked me out. I forgot I underfueled him. Okay, so the rain is actually starting soon. I'll have to be cognizant of that. Also, another thing that's cool in this mod is before you used to be able to see how the tire wear was, like where the tire level wear was for the other teams, but now that information is hidden. You used to be able to play off of like how hard the other teams were driving their tires, but now you don't know. You only can see yours, which is smart. Someone already went on intermediates. They probably had to pit in like a lap or two ago and didn't want to pit a second time. Okay, here comes the rain. So we'll do one more lap. I might even pit in this other guy first, just to get him out of the way. No sense in rushing the pit crew on this car. If they make mistakes, that messes with their morale, I think. Which could screw the pit stops for my main driver. Look at the screen tearing. Okay, so he's passed. I'm gonna go on intermediates. It's a high risk, so I'm not gonna do that. And I have clear air right now, so I'm just gonna push. Actually, even with the clear air, it's a bit too wet. I should have pitted him in first. That's okay though. So we'll see where I end up. I think it's... Oh, you know what? I was using the fast forward. I said I wouldn't. This might be bad for me, actually. His pace wasn't bad. But I didn't want to double stack. What position was I? I was like P7. Actually came out in the same position, so I'm happy about that. Let's see. Water levels are rising. I don't know if it'll go past the intermediate point. Yeah, it looks like it falls off. You might just be sticking to intermediates here. Goalless first, Bischoff second, for sure third. Schumacher's dead last, which is surprising. Again, I have no idea. I'm gonna look it up later, or after this race, to see if he's actually related to the more famous Schumachers. You know what, I'm gonna go hard on these tires. They take a lot longer to heat up. Marcasia collides with Guillermo. Oh, that's me. Fuck. Okay, well, thankfully there wasn't any damage to me. She needs repairs, though. Bastard. It's a 25-second gap to the leader. What did I say? Locked up. See what the weather's like. Yeah, it's stabilizing at this level. I'm pretty sure intermediates are still ideal there. It's around half. A little above, but it's still fine there. The wets are really when it's a downpour. It's a P8 still. I think I was P7, so I lost one position, which is not a big deal. I'm still in the points, surprisingly. And again, this is the 2-star, just above the 2-star. And my car, at least overall, we're 10th on the grid at the 12. So this is incredibly good. Tire temps are going up once I hit the red line, or the red zone. Which I think you want to keep it in that red zone. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, if you know how the tire temps work, let me know. I'm pretty sure you keep it in the red zone. Hogger ran wide. Garcia's... Oh, she had the drive-through penalty. Did she hit someone else? Or is that when she hit me? Okay, so we're in the red zone. It doesn't look like I'll be switching off these tires anytime soon, so we'll go a little bit easier on them. Notori's on my ass, though. That ugly ass livery. Whoa. It's kind of cool. Oh, I just got past. Man, this guy must be pushing. What was that, lap 12? Okay, so I'm attempting to overtake, but I think he has the pace. I also went hard earlier, which is how I got into this position, so I need to conserve now, so I have enough fuel for later. I was at point... I should track it, actually, since there's not much going on. So, passing the line, 0.28. Let's see at what rate I'm saving. Oh. Actually didn't know you could check these. You could check the standings and the points. Oh, assuming that we fit, this is how the positions are when the race finishes. That's cool. Oh, I see, and then this is a detailed standing. Okay, so that's silly. So I can't see what the tire wear is like, but I could see whether or not they're pushing or not. Apparently, this guy's not even pushing at all. Like, he's actually conserving. But he's still putting on a lot of pressure on my driver and may even pass him. Yeah. Alright. Well, the other thing that affects the race, or rather your driver's, is his form, and my guy's form is really bad right now. He got passed by Notori, who's apparently has perfect form, and then Leganella has 8.7, which, like, has a significant effect on performance. Oh, I forgot to check what the rated tire or fuel saving was. So that was 2 laps. That was at 2.8. So just divide by 2. Leganella is backing off. Notori pulled ahead by quite a bit, actually. So, what is that? 0.21? Probably 0.20. So it's about 0.04 laps of fuel saved per lap. 0.04. So that's 20. So 5 laps. So by lap 20, I'll be in the clear. And then once we go on the dry, which will be about lap 21, 22, I can probably push a little bit. Jonathan Hoggard has mechanical issues. Man, this guy, bad luck. Schumacher's out of hole though. This guy pitted 3 times already. This Leganella guy, his form's dropping slightly, but so is mine. I think this kid is 17 years old, and it's his first race, so I wonder if that has an effect. I mean, definitely would in real life. So it's at 0.17. Yeah, it's about 0.04. Yeah, it looks like Leganella is, like I'm getting a lead on him. I'm also catching up to Notori again. Not much is happening, so I'm gonna go on 2 times. So the rain level is starting to drop. It peaked like 1 lap ago. So we'll have to pit in soon. The last few laps are going to be a sprint. I think he will be the pit early. and then go hard once the water levels drop. So we'll check. Oh, actually, let me check our condition. Suspension and rear wing are taking a beating. It should be fine. Holy, his brakes are almost done. Okay, that sucks. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna fix his brakes. I don't want him tying up the pits when it's game time. I really don't care about this guy's race. I just want him out of the way when my other driver is pitting. Should I get him? Ugh. Man, this sucks. He's gonna have to pit in again, for sure. What is that, 10 laps left? Oh god, that sucks. I think this will be fine. You know what? He's gonna have to pit in again, so just do that for now. Yep. So I'm almost at par. I'm actually gonna have him... I might actually have him conserve fuel right now. The Laganella guy is not a threat. I might actually have him push the tires too. I'm going to be switching off them anyways. May as well do the same with him. Yeah, I'll conserve a bit more fuel. And then go hard on the Ultra Softs. Do I have a fresh... No, I don't. This one's fresh enough, whatever. Okay, so it's completely stopped raining. We just need to wait for... wait for the track to evaporate. This Laganella guy is still 5 seconds off. So I'm not threatened by him. My form is still going down. 4.2. We'll pit him not this lap, but the next lap, I think. Yeah, once you pass it, I'll queue it up. And if it looks like a bad call, I'll just cancel it. His parts are fine, 40%, he'll make it. Yeah, some people are already pitting. I could have even pit there. I'll push these tires, and then I'll pit him as soon as Oliveira is clear. Wow, Nattori passed another person. This guy's going nuts. 9.2 form. I kind of don't like that the form thing is actually like a hard number. I wish it was hidden. Like, I wish, like, I don't mind it being a number in the back end, but it's weird that you get to see it as, you get to see your own drivers, but you also get to see the other drivers, their exact form. Okay. Shush. Okay, so he's out. We're gonna put him on his Ultra Softs. I'm gonna fix these, and then that's it. Yeah, these actually lasted a lot longer than I thought they were. He still needs to conserve. He actually might not finish. But again, I don't care. Oh, okay. Oh wait, he's out. Okay, so I'm gonna tell him to go hard while his tires are fresh. His form went back up. Probably just doesn't like racing in the wet. So I'm back into the position I was before, which is good. And we could see now if we can gain anything. Nattori's up to P6 now. He was behind me at one point. Let's see. Novalek did a 159 last lap. We can see what we are doing right now. He's actually going conservative too on his fuel, so I should be able to catch him. He actually needs repairs, so I should be able to pass him. 156. I am half a second up on him, so I should be able to pass him eventually. I have the pace, but yeah. It's still a matter of getting past him. Okay, and so I should be able to conserve enough for the finish line. Hopefully. Okay, it's getting a little hot here. Leganel is actually... No, he shouldn't be. He's 1 second behind. Or slower on that one lap, although he's he's all green on this one. So what's the time he's putting in? 156.8. He's still slower than me by a lot. Novalek just put in a really good time though. He's pushing his tires really hard. I wonder if he'll have enough for the end. Three more laps. Also, are these tires still getting hotter? I can't tell. They might just be holding at this temperature, which is actually fine. Okay, so for this, I'll push the engine harder. See what that gets us. Huh. Novalek is going a full second faster, so I won't be able to catch him, but even though he needs repairs, apparently. It doesn't say what, but that's okay. Should be able to limp over the line with that. Yeah, he'll definitely have enough fuel. Let's see though. I did a 156.9 on a medium engine mode. We'll see what happened. Embarrassing. I don't know what he's talking about. Is he talking about his race? Is he disappointed? So here, let's see. 156.9 on medium. It's about a second faster on a high engine mode. Still though, not really enough. I will need to conserve soon. All we need to do is just not crash. So he's close to the red zone on his front wing, that's okay. I thought I repaired those, but maybe not. Oh, he actually ended up getting passed too. This guy, he pitted in 5 times. Passed our guy. Feels bad. Okay. What was that? 156.1. Yeah. It's a little slower. I'm surprised considering the fuel load is like nothing now. Nico Goler's out of fuel? Who's that? Did he pass the checkered flag? Oh no, he didn't. He might get passed. With Shelfer? He's going really slow though. Oh, I need to conserve that. Oh, actually he could just come going hard. Oh, please. Yeah. Who was that? Novalek? He ran out of fuel. Amazing. Same with this guy? Who's this? Alacy? This is the guy that hit me earlier. Yeah, screw you. That's hilarious. I'm happy with that. 2 free positions because these two fucked up on... Or actually these two messed up on their fuel. Goler ended up finishing first even though he ran out of fuel. This guy's 3 seconds behind. Right, let's finish. Let's see. And Sato was on softs, which is weird. So let's see. That was a pit stop. Man, the first lap we were flying. What happened here? Did we get hit? Man, the first lap is always insane. Like the race physics gets really messed up. Schoffer also got the fastest. Oh no, he got pole position. Oh, so he fell too. Who got fastest lap? Oh, there is no fastest lap in this series. Man, look at that value. Plus 16, plus 11, that's really good. Oh, this guy was second and he went first. Feels bad. Feels real bad. P18 or P21 fell 18. I'm gonna look it up right now. David Schumacher. Yeah, so he's the former son of former driver Ralph Schumacher and the nephew of Mike Schumacher. Michael Schumacher. Cool. See if anyone is cheating. So I wasn't. See if anyone was. No. Be surprising in the first race, but you never know. Alright. That was a good first race. 4 points right off the bat. On the board, middle of the pack right now. Love to see it.